Anxiety for me is, it's a lot of things. I think for me personally, it's like constant worrying, like more for myself if I'm doing good enough or anything, or like if I could be better. Anxiety kind of stops you from doing your best because you stress too much about it.
Yeah.
Constant worrying, like more for myself if I'm doing good enough or anything. Or and then like socially, it's like you are thinking, what are other people thinking about me right now? Or am I fitting in? Oh my God. I find that I like think throughout the day what I did, and then you start to like get anxious about how you were portrayed throughout the day. Probably in my teens, you don't really worry about much stuff, and then as life becomes more stressful and expectations are there, like you realize that anxiety is actually a thing that has become more for me, I guess.
Have you experienced any panic attacks?
A couple of years ago, when it first started to happen a lot, that's when I was experiencing a lot of panic attacks, like at bedtime when I'm about to go to sleep and I'm there with just my brain.
Yeah.
And I would find myself getting like hot flushes and having to just like sit up out of bed, and I'm just like, I don't want to go to sleep because I know that that's gonna keep on happening.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an end to anxiety, but I think it's just a matter of like accepting that it's a part of who you are and overcoming it, or maybe just like, I think I'm not coming to the end of it, but I'm like coming to the stage where I can just ignore it or like deal with it.
What would you say to those people who are in a similar boat to you or who are experiencing it currently like you were?
I would say don't deal with it how I have and just ignore it. Anxiety is a mental illness, and it is something that you can't just ignore, and you should probably, like, if you can, seek help and like talk to someone about it. And even if it's not something that you can get rid of, learn to accept it and I guess just figure out how to let it not affect your life.